Welcome back to What Arty Noobs with General Disturbance. This is a Frontline game. It's on the Kraftwerk map, and the reason I'm giving a commentary to this one is because there's somebody famous in the lineup, and it happens to be Aurorik78. Now, you may know him because he's quite a famous light tank player, and well, we're doing this replay and a few others of his to actually teach people how to play light tanks. In fact, that's what Aurorik78 does do. He actually does give instruction on other players to up their light tank game. But he's decided to play the ELC790 in this one. And in fact, actually, we've got no engine sound at all. I've tried to restart several times and get the sound back, but it just won't do it. So obviously, we're going to play this one without sound from the engines, but you are getting sound from the effects. Okay, when he's gone in to try and block the capture of this area straight away, there's an EBR75FL10 sitting in the just in the other side of the cap area, and he's got to stay there if he wants the capture. He's got one round in. We took a hit, and that was an Amarak. And yes, he managed to get all 3 rounds in from his 90mm, but unfortunately the EBR75FL10 got both rounds from his magazine as well, and we've taken a substantial hit to our health. Yeah, we've only got half our health left, 521 actually, and I think Aurorik's gonna have to quickly get back to one of the rearm refuel areas and try and get his health back. He's on the defending team on this map. Now, I don't get to play that much in the way of Frontline, mainly because I'm too busy producing videos rather than actually playing the actual games themselves. Yes, content creation is what I'm up to. And I also try to teach a lot of players how to, or the best practice in playing Arty. Now, I'm not a brilliant Arty player. In fact, I'm fairly average, you might say. But I do understand how you should be doing it. And there are some really excellent Arty players which I do watch. And obviously, I pick up a lot from them as well. Aurorik's going after this T-34-3, who suddenly realised, oops, there's somebody shooting my rear. He took one hit from somebody else, and there's the kill shot. Nicely done. He couldn't have taken that guy down without help from somebody else, so he was lucky that he did get help. Now, these shells are capable of 220 alpha. They penetrate 175mm with standard ammunition, and so in a typical mag, he could get 660 in the way of damage on the enemy. Oh, that's not so good. Yeah, I'm afraid an EBR75, probably the same one that we hit us earlier, has just taken out our Bisonte C45, and it looks like the enemy are now well and truly ensconced in this area, and he's going after that EBR. He gets a quick ram in as well, and then he disappears. Now, he didn't lose too much from the ram. He's probably got controlled impact to actually help him, and he did actually get some damage from the EBR. But I'm afraid now the enemy are more than likely going to capture this area. He is reloading at the moment. Standard reload, 29.37 seconds. And Aurorik, well, he's actually showing, what's it? Oh, he's actually loaded now, 2.5. That's the intra-clip reload. And those guys are, yes, they're going to get the capture. Okay, we took a hit from the BZ176. That was a fairly big one as well. And it looks like we set off a landmine. At least I think it may have been a landmine. But, oh, we've just been hit again. And we've bailed out. Okay, so yes, they have captured that zone. So he's got a choice where he could go. He can't go into the middle zone, but he could go to the first zone, or rather A zone. Where has he gone? Well, he's actually into the F zone at the moment. So he's actually gone to the next one back on the enemy. And he's changed to a Squall. This is the tier 8 Czech machine gun. Not machine gun. No, it's an autocannon tank. It's actually based on the Viz 60. Is it 61? Trying to remember which one it is. 68. The Viz 68. So it is based on a Czech tank with double guns. And they're normally 57mm guns, capable of only a tiny amount of damage per each shot, but lots of shots on the enemy. Yeah, they'll only do 8 alpha, but they've got 182mm penetration with standard rounds and 100 rounds in the clip. And unfortunately, he just got bombed by an aircraft, so he's out the game for the moment. Just gonna wait. He's trying to select his next tank to go into the game. He's gonna take the LT-432. 85mm main gun, very flat tank, but fairly fast. It's actually quite a good tank if you are going to play active spotter. Of course, the ELC is more of a passive spotter, where you'll actually sit in a spot where the enemy can't see you and hope that they haven't got the commander's vision system, because if they do, you probably will get spotted. And oh, we've just seen a black dog, and he's over just on the edge of that field, and we're now spotting a Scorpion. And I don't think those guys can see us. We can see them, they can't see us. The moment we open fire, they will spot us. Yep, Sixth Sense went off. He knows we're here. He auto-aimed on. Oh, we took a biggie. Yeah, that's a high roll. 20 hit point high roll. Goes for another one. Yep, the fire's on the move. And we did get a fire in that last one. So we're down to a third. And he fired back and didn't get it. Now, you can fire just over the edge of the ridgeline, and he does that, and, well, slightly more over the edge of the ridgeline there. The Scorpion gets the kill, is killed. Now, what about the Scorpion G? That was the Scorpion, which is the alternate one, which Wargaming bought in to the game just so they could sell the same tank twice, but it's a plain closed version of the Scorpion. Okay, we've got an enemy on our tail. Ow! And that was the Shrek. And he's coming up for another one. 100mm rounds, not good for us. We've taken a second hit and a third. We're about to go down with the next shot, I should think. Oh, not quite, but next shell definitely will kill. And he's going for it. Yeah. So another tank has bit the dust, but we've probably got one of the tanks, the previous tanks that we were using back. Possibly the ELC. He's going to be out just for a little while. And he's having a quick look round whilst he does, just to see where all the action's going on. Now, Aurorik's actually sharing a number of light tank games with us. And I will be producing these as 2 or 3 replay videos. So obviously you're going to get a chance to see him playing the same tank several times in different games. And that might help you pick up some tips on how to play. As I said, Aurorik does train people how to play. He trains in his clan, SAMS, as well as other players who I think he has contact with. At least that's what I understand. Okay, so he's on the move, looking around to see what's going on. He's waiting for his new vehicle to arrive, and it is going to be turning up very shortly. He's currently sergeant rank, but of course if he gets a few more kills he will move up. Now, most of the time Aurorik does get Super Unicum standard on his games, so he's actually very competent, you might say, and that's what makes him such an excellent teacher or trainer for light tanks, because he knows what he's doing. And he has appeared on quite a few other channels as a light tank player, so he's got a bit of a reputation. Now, we featured him in one of our battles recently where he was playing the Batchat 25 ton, which is a bit of an assassin tank, but it actually does feature as a light tank when your team only has mediums, so you can use a Batchat 25 ton for that purpose. One of the things that Aurorik does is he tries to play the tank with only standard ammo. He doesn't try and use the premium to compensate for lack of skill. He tries to get accurate. You can see at this moment, this ELC is stalking the enemy, but he's not actually engaging them as such, just spotting. That should enable his teammates to actually get shots on the enemy, at least keep them in sight. And he's now selecting the tank he's going to use, the T92. Now, which map is he going to go into? Okay, he's in. And he's actually going into the zone at the back of the map where the emplacements are, the goals. And we can see that the enemy is capping. So they're firing at one of the emplacements. Now he's having to get out of this zone, because if he doesn't, he's going to be taken out of the game fairly quickly, automatically. Got a Squall over there. And yes, we have got spotted. But we do take down the Progetto. He hasn't got much longer. He does have to leave. He's auto aimed on to the Type 59. And we're starting to receive fire. Okay, he's having to leave and bug out. Now, luckily, the T92, and you can see he's actually got some achievement marks on this vehicle, on the front engine. Well, so the engine's at the front of the vehicle, not the back. And yes, this is one of the vehicles that he will be doing these multiple games in. I think we've got a video which will have 3 T92 games for you to play. We'll see. And the other tanks that we're actually featuring are, if I remember correctly, an ELC M90 game and an AMX ELC game. Okay, enemy tank spotted behind. Of course, the T92 was supposed to, if I remember correctly, be the replacement for the M41, the Walker Bulldog. And he's actually setting them up now for one of the attacks. Oh, slowed down, but he auto-aimed on. He set the mines. Now, he can go over the mines, but the enemy can't. So he's actually blocked that corridor temporarily. And unfortunately, some of the mines have gone off. And here comes the EBR. And that guy slowed himself down a bit, but he went straight through the mines, and he's out the game, and we get captain rank. Now, he's only got about a third of his health, so he does need to be careful. One of the things I did actually propose a long while ago, years ago, was actually that if you did get hold in your fuel tanks, you could actually run out of fuel during the battle, so you'd actually be immobilized, and then of course your game would more than likely be over. You see, at the moment, if you get your fuel tanks hold, what actually happens, you're more at risk of actually catching fire. But technically speaking, if a tank ran out of fuel, like a tank being tracked, it would actually be immobilized. And that would actually be quite fun, because then you would have an incentive to fix your tanks to make sure A, you don't catch fire, and B, that you don't run out of fuel when you still need it. Of course, there's lots of things that I did suggest before they actually did appear in the game. And one of those is having smoke and the ability to lay smoke, and also artillery fire, not from SPGs, but actually from an outside battery. Of course, the smoke one is rather good, because of course smoke does make a huge difference in a battle. And it's ought to be that Arty ought to be able to lay down smoke as well. That guy's throwing it around the battlefield, but it's not exactly helping him. Now we pulled back there to use the ridge line. That's frustrating him. And he did get a good shot in there. Locked on, and it worked. Here comes the EBR. Oh, he's running away now. Okay, we've got a Patriot just the other side. That EBR is one shot. Now, if I remember correctly, this is a 76mm main gun, 150 alpha, and standard APCR, and 189 pen. There's the, yep. He hung around too long. He should have gone back to get refueled and repaired, but he didn't, and as a consequence, he suffered. Now that Shrek is now one shot. Oh, he put one in. Go for the second. Yep, he got down. Now got major rank. He was spotting for that last one. Quick turnaround. Okay, he's decided to use the resupply and popped through. Managed to get some of it back, but not all of it, and then took a round from the Patriot, the 90mm round. There's two of them there now. I think he was waiting for the guy to go behind the rock before firing, but he didn't. He kind of stopped suddenly, and that meant we missed the chance. We're going to be blocked from going into resupply for a little while, so we're just teasing him at the moment. Oh! Okay, we got tracked by an Arty strike. He's managed to artificially repair and refuel. He's actually setting up the mines. Let's see what happens. Okay. Oh, that was good. He managed to get the mines to go off. Unfortunately, he can't use the resupply now after doing that. But that Patriot is out the game. He managed to lay the mines in such a way that if the guy tried to move afterwards, he was going to set them off. And so he's still got another kill. He's only got 24 hit points, so he must get back to another resupply if he's going to stay in the game. Either that or he's going to have to take a new tank. There's the resupply. Now it's going to be a long stay on this one. Okay. Sounds like Arty's firing. Okay, so he's got a full one now. Racked up a lot of assistance as well as a lot of damage. Brush past that one. This area looks to be fairly well defended, except now we've got a 7032 coming from one direction and a T32 coming from the other. At least I think it's a T32. He's moving up. He's been spotted. You need to move. It's the... Oh, it's a Liss. Not a T32. It's a CS52 Liss. Ow. Okay. Well, that's one 122mm round. You can see it went right through one of the cupolas. He's kept his spotting on that 703. Might be able to get another round into him. And if he goes for the... Yes, he's probably gone for the refuel. He's very low now. And we took one in the tracks. Still plenty of time in the game because, of course, we're looking at 19 minutes 50 seconds so far. Okay. Yep, got one in the list. The list goes down. Now, we did get spotted, so pull back. He got one quick shot in, and it was a T-32. There was one there. Oh, we've lost one zone. That will extend the time a little more. He's timing his shots every time he goes up over the ridgeline to get the auto aim on and then pump around out and pull back straight away so that there's no return fire. You can see this T-32 is firing back at us. It's just not catching us because, of course, we're not there when the shell arrives. Now, he's gone to tunnel vision, so we don't know what's going on around us at the moment. We've been spotted. Pull back. Yep. In fact, that's what I'm worried about. He went to third. Oh, we've got general. Wow. Unfortunately, we took a bit of an impact there. But the good news is that Kampfpanzer 07 is now actually... Oh, he's actually right next door to where we died. But I think we managed to stop him from actually going through that zone. Okay, he's ready to start, and he's decided to go with the Squall again. Now, he needs to do a bit of a divert around this, because that's a refuel zone. We go in. It's not going to have an effect, surely. No, it's not going to have an effect, so we're okay. And that mine zone is still there. It does actually kind of funnily look as if the Kampfpanzer 07 did actually die after we died. So it may have, yes, oh, there goes the mines. Because I think that's the wreck, isn't it, there? Now he's using this spot for quite good effect. You can spot these guys down below. Okay. And he's blasting away with those autocannon. That's got 100 shells in each clip. He's laid the mines down. Now, that guy daren't move. If he does move, he'll set the mines off. You'll have to wait there for a while. But we're going to plant another shell into him. Yes. And there he goes. Uh-oh, G-Saw. Now, that's the tank destroyer G-Saw with 4 shots. If I remember correctly, it's a 120mm gun, if I recall. With an autoload of 4 shells, but quite a long reload. Okay, we've got full clip ready. We're probably not going to kill him off with one shot because you've only got an alpha of, what is it, 800? And he's giving him a good go. He wasn't able to take him out. Right, full health again. There he is. Waiting for that reload to go in. He did take some damage from the ram. One more circuit of the house, and then he can take him down. Wait for it. Ready. Nice kill. AP AMX-30 just behind the other house. A fair distance away, actually. There he is. He's going to try and catch up with him, get closer. Okay, so we've taken one round. Ow! Not good there. The Iron Army. So we've got 2 players promoted to General as well as Aurorik. He's been maximizing the damage he can do in this area. I get the feeling he knows this area very, very well. More than a few rounds or games played. And this guy, this Tiger 2 FL. Oh, we've got one of our teammates right alongside him. So we put the whole clip into him. Keeping the target in sight.
Our general has entered the field.
Okay, now. Unfortunately, the Tiger got a shot off into us.
Allied reinforcements have arrived. Ready for deployment.
Okay, selected the ELC-M90 as his next tank. And he's in. Now, a lot of players will play the ELC-M90 because, A, it's very good at camo. I remember when it first came out, I was playing alongside a CC who had actually been given the tank as to try it out, a freebie. And I also remember that we were sitting in a bush next to the top end of Erlenberg, and this was the old version of Erlenberg, and the enemy tank was right alongside us, and he couldn't even see us. Amazing. I thought at the time this tank was going to be really dangerous. Okay, G-Saw. And that's it. The game's over. And here's the end of battle results. Yes, that caught me unawares, actually, that we were actually very close to the end of the game because the objectives had survived. Now, we can see that Aurorik managed to get General of the Army. In fact, I think he was the first one in his team to actually get General of the Army. There were a couple of afterwards, but he was the first. He also managed to get a Supreme Gun in that one, causing the most damage in the game, at least 10,000 hit points of damage, and not to hit any of his allies by direct shot. Because, of course, if you do hit one of your teammates in the standard game, you miss out any chance of getting a high caliber. Well, he caused the most damage on the enemy, but he made sure that he didn't touch his teammates because he wouldn't have got this medal otherwise. So very well done. No win 8, unfortunately, showing. But if we look at the team score, we can see the actual damage he did was 2,198 hit points of damage with the Squall. Obviously, it doesn't show the damage from the other vehicles overall. He also got 2 kills in the Squall. Top scorer was this T26E5, managed to get 9 and 6,000 hit points. Well, actually, the top scorer when it came to damage was this Type 63, who got 7,000. That's on his team. But on the enemy team, it was the Mars who did well. 10,567 hit points of damage. And the high score when it came to them on kills was only 4 for the Mars. Now, Aurorik again, we're seeing that the XP he managed to earn was 756 for the Squall. But of course, he did do better in the other tanks in the end. We can see on detail that he fired 600 rounds in the Squall, got 532 direct hits and 281 penetrations, 2,198 hit points of damage, and 4 enemy vehicles damaged, 2 killed, 762 hit points of spotting. Now, he did earn 49,461 credits from the game and 2,381 experience points out of that one as well. Of course, the actual game lasted 26 minutes and 0 seconds, but the enemy failed to kill all the objectives, and therefore the game was over. So, yes, not bad. I think the fact is that he managed to get that general mark very, very quickly because he was focused on getting damage on the enemy. And he did it with standard rounds because, of course, Aurorik doesn't believe in using premium rounds because, of course, if you can't hit the spot you want to hit, then obviously that's why you're not going to get the damage, because you really ought to try and use standard ammo, and that way you do make credits. Whereas if you keep using premium ammo, you'll actually end up losing credits in the long run. Hope you enjoyed that replay. Yes, I don't normally do Frontline with a commentary because it's just too long and it takes too much out of me if I was to do all of them with a commentary, because I wouldn't have a voice for the other games. But I hope you enjoyed this one. Probably the only one I'm going to be doing for a while on Frontline. But as I said, we've got more games coming with Aurorik featuring his light tank games on the T92, the ELC-M90, and of course the AMX CLC as well. Hope you enjoy them. Thanks for watching.